Welcome, my beautiful souls. Today we're going to go kind of old school. This is a type of reading I used to do years ago, and I don't know why I haven't done it in a while. So, what we're going to do is, by the way, this is going to be for all signs, and we're going to take one whole deck and we are going to tell as many stories as it wants to tell. So I'm also going to bring in clarifiers if needed. Um, you know, and we're just going to we're going to just start from the deck and, well, I'll show you as we go along. This is the type of reading, though, where I'm really connecting to our guides and I am asking them to give us as much clarity within each message because there's probably going to be quite a few messages here. And you may relate, and many of you will relate to more than just one. Um, and sometimes when we're done with this, the whole thing tells its own story also. So just keep an open mind. This is about going with the flow. This is a great way of testing your intuition because it's kind of quick speed. I mean, we're not going to make it faster than it needs to be, but um, again, I'm looking for a lot of messages for the collective, and we're going to use the Universal Tarot along with the Crystal Vision. And I have some other decks ready in case I decide to pull another deck in. We will. All right. So let's go ahead and give them a cut. And the best way to explain this reading is to do it. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to bring the lid down. I am going to ask you just to calm your mind. Make sure my own mind is calm. We want to just go with the flow here. And I think what I'm going to do is 3 across. But I'm also open to however it wants to come out. So let's go ahead and begin. We have the 7 of Pentacles, the 10 of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands feels like help, feels like something coming in to help, and the 10 of Wands energy. 10 of Wands, literally looks like this person is pushing these wands up a hill or about to. But notice the person's clothing. Like, they might be ragged, but really, it's about how this person's spiritual muscles have grown due to these wands. Experiences, some difficult, maybe more so than less. Um, but with the 7 of Pentacles before, definitely some good soul lessons within that. I feel like in the 10 of Wands, one of the things we can tell ourselves is, look at the things I have overcome. So when a challenge is put before me, I can remember, I can recall, like, okay, well, I've been through worse. And you can use that experience. 7 of Pentacles is like your tree of life. So it's like, I feel like it's feeding you a pentacle. And this Knight of Wands feels like the vehicle bringing it in. And I don't know why, but I feel like this knight is like saving the day, but I don't mean as a person, I don't think. I mean this more as an energy. Um, it's almost like a strong wind comes in and knocks all those wands down. So they have no choice but to put those wands down. And for some of you, it may simply be asking you to look at any situation you may be going through right now in like, what is it trying to teach me? What am I learning from this? Let's go ahead and take a clarifier over it. Three of Swords. Okay, so some of you, you may be going through that energy right now of a broken heart. Um, but I have to tell you, I feel like the Three of Swords is energy. It's already happened, and it has to tie back to that Ten of Wands. So for some of you, it can literally mean that, you've become used to carrying the brunt of a relationship, a situation on your shoulders. You could be single mom or dad, and like everything is on your shoulders. But can I delegate? Can I ask for help? And again, I feel like this night that's coming in is for change. It's to help give you the change. Let's put this over here, that I feel like one is seeking. So I feel like this is saying there's new energy that is opening up. It feels like something is part of your tree of life. Let's say the Ten of Wands is anything to do with love. Then the Three Swords can talk about like repeat patterns, or even myself in love. Like, do I tend to like jump in and try to, take care of everything instead of allowing it to be a give and take? Or, you know, the other way around, am I finding myself in relationships where it is all on my shoulders? What I would say is you have to look at your own energy. Because I feel like the Knight of Wands is about something better, right? Something better. But learning from the Ten of Wands, I feel like will be a lifesaver as it relates to love. All right, let's continue. Nine of Swords, Eight of Cups. I like that. The Hermit. Interesting how the Hermit's looking right back at the Eight of Cups. And we're in the year of the Hermit. Hello, soulmates. Hello, soulmates. Okay. Standing eye to eye. Eye, the eyes of the wisdom, or the mirror to the soul. It's interesting because you have you have the Hermit here. Oh, excuse me just one second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So anyways, let's get back to this. So again, we have the Hermit. First of all, it is card of Virgo. I do want to remind you that we're in the year of the Hermit. This is the final ninth year. The Hermit is illuminating this Eight of Cups, which makes complete sense because we open up this message with the Nine of Swords, worry. But this is unnecessary worry. That is the meaning of the card. But it is worry. So this Eight of Cups feels like that's what takes the worry away. This is where one has taken that moment to look within one's emotional world. Trying to understand the cups have been knocked over, but also knowing oneself. I feel like eight is also about self, about a new beginning. It's also the number of infinity. To me, that means there's nothing you cannot get through. But this is emotional clearing, and how beautiful that you're clearing the Nine of Swords. So I get the sense of like some of you have gained some awesome wisdom, spiritual wisdom. And I feel like your spiritual team is interesting because I just released a video um, where I connected with our guides for signs for you. Um, and I'm kind of feeling that here. But anyways, I love like the Hermit is that wise old soul. It's what we all carry, right? This isn't our first time in this, living life, and it probably won't be our last. Though I do feel like the Hermit, because it is the wise old soul, because it has learned through the dark night of the soul, which makes sense with these two nines, right? The Nine of Swords being one. And what has to happen? What ends that worry? The Eight of Cups, the moving away. So I have a feeling some of you may have given your energy to another, and you may have thought that, this is my person, and it may have been your person for that time, but I feel like it had an expiration date, and this kind of feels like the expiration date because the soulmates feel like they have yet to come. Interesting, I took 4 across here. I meant to take 3, but good thing I took 4. And because these soulmates are really mirrors of each other, to me, that means both of them have this spiritual wisdom. Probably because they're also mirroring the Nine of Swords. Probably both of them had to deal with like a lot of worry. And sometimes that worry is the change, the walking away, right? The willingness to look within one's emotional house. Like that is courage. And you should be proud of yourself. Some of these cups were free will. Like we don't have to know it all, but I definitely want to know myself in love. I want to know where my energy is at. Especially if, I don't feel like this person here is like actively seeking a soulmate. Maybe they thought they had a soulmate. Um, but then this person turns around and just gives you reason to worry. All right, let's take a crystal vision. Wow, look at that. Holy cow. So the Ten of Swords, which is now mirroring the Nine of Swords. Okay, this answers a question. So let's say I'm still in the Nine of Swords energy, but things just don't feel right, right? In the Ten of Swords, you're literally taking dagger after dagger in your back. And I feel like it gets to the point of submission. I just expect daggers to happen, and I'll be damned, they do. Kind of like the law of attraction at the same time. But I feel like what this is pointing out to some of you is this could be a repeat pattern, but you have the ability to break that down and figure that out. And I definitely feel like there's, somewhere along the way, there's got to be someone saying, no more. I've had enough. Like, this is not what love is meant to be. Right? But, it's interesting because even that Three of Swords is kind of like tying in, like, have I given someone multiple chances? And with each chance, they've let me down. Well, again, this is moving you towards a soulmate, like minded energy. I have a feeling this energy wasn't like minded. I feel like it was more the energy of we're going to do it my way or the highway. Like someone saying, I'm not going to check in all the time. Like you don't need to know where I'm at all the time. Well, you're right if I could trust you. But because I can't trust you, this is why I ask these questions. It's like they flip it onto you where it's really their energy, but you are taking it. I think the moral of this story is don't assume because you've had love that wasn't so great that you yourself can't find that ultimate love. You do need to think about your own energy, and that's really what the hermit is about. The hermit's seeking the light within, but also sharing that beacon of light. And these soulmates are sharing the hermit's energy. So I have a feeling we could even be talking about past lives here. It's interesting the readings that I've done lately. It's like they all fit together like peanut butter and jelly. Like I did a twin flame reading. I re-released it. Somehow it showed back on my feed, and it was 2016 to 2017, so it was a year one. So I thought, all right, well now I got to do the year nine. So that was interesting. And before that, I did past lives. But the past life reading was because of the monthly readings for October. There were so many past life loves in that I had to do a past life reading. So I can see how everything is fitting. All right, let's continue. Next story, we have the Three of Cups, happy energy, joy. The meaning of this card is rejoice and celebration. So hopefully that means it's bringing us something to celebrate. We have the Death card of Scorpio. The Death card talks about transformation, closing of one door, but then the opening of a new. It's like a rebirth. We have interesting, the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. I'm saying interesting because I literally go through my decks and I make sure everything is in the upright. So either I just missed that or it found a way to turn itself around. We might as well do four. And then we have the Devil, card of Capricorn. Speaks of temptations, things that tempt us in the dark, so to speak. If you look at this image, you see the lovers, right? But they're chained. I actually did a podcast explaining this card and how loosely bound they really are. But they're under the illusion that they're stuck. But that is an illusion. I feel like in this energy, I feel like there is an opportunity for an existing relationship, whether it be work or love. Um, I feel like there's an opportunity for this relationship to itself have a rebirth, but I feel that we have to really examine like what's working, what's not working. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse makes me feel that, am I focusing on this relationship? Because that's what it would need. And of course, both would have to equally. Let's take crystal vision with that. We have the Eight of Cups. So another energy of moving on. But I have to tell you, what I'm picking up, and this is what I'm picking up through our guides. This is when I kind of go off the cards and just pick up the messages. What I feel is there's a couple that have been dealing with, maybe outside influences, who have kind of drifted apart. And I feel like we're right on that edge of, do we try or do we not? Now, I do feel both have to be willing to focus on this. And I feel like if both are, then I feel like that illusion, that illusion, almost like the illusion that we're roommates when we're much more than that, comes into play. I definitely feel, I feel this couple is being influenced by shadow, let's just say. whether it's the way we're talking to each other, or the lack of spending time together, whatever it may be. I feel like through the death card is where you're really figuring out, what parts of this relationship, again, whether it be work or love, because we have a little both, what areas can we, well, free ourselves from? I feel like, I do feel like there was an emotional situation on the table, and I feel like it needs to be dealt with. I feel two people who truly love each other, but I feel, again, external influences. And that's why I feel like we need to pull back together. Like, if we do this together, we can get through this period. Okay, let's keep going. Nine of Pentacles, successful self employment. This is about reaping the benefits, right? Those seeds that you planted, now reaping the harvest. Some of you can just be the beginning of it. And it doesn't have to be self-employment, but it definitely means an increase in your money. And in the Nine of Pentacles is very independent energy. Like, I can take care of myself. I probably love what I do. So let's see. Seven of Swords. I don't love that. I feel like someone has their hands out. Like, gimme, gimme, gimme. We have the Star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. Two cards of Aquarius, by the way. And then the Emperor. Wow, the business owner. This is someone who's put a lot of work, in their career, building up these pentacles. I feel like this is talking about success. I do feel like there's someone who kind of has their hands out. Um, like, like, give me some of that money. But I don't feel you do. You may have, you know what I mean? Like, I may have. It could be a child, you know, um, could be a love, but I just feel like it's energy that's kind of working against what you're trying to accomplish. The star definitely represents your dreams, your wishes, and look at the stable energy here. If someone is thinking about starting a business and you're willing to put in the work that it takes, but at the same time, I have a feeling it's something that you would love, um, then I feel like this is definitely supporting you. I feel like there's just one person. So let's take a crystal vision. King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, does he have his hands in your money? Well, let's look right over that Seven of Swords. Judgment. It's like, okay, so Judgment is your spiritual team. And, they guide you. That's their job, is to guide you. And it's interesting because I feel like they're pointing out that Seven of Swords for us. But I feel like they're pointing it out so that you can do something about it. I just feel like you are finding success, but there's someone who, let's put it this way, would probably say, like, mm, I just get this feeling like doesn't believe in your dreams, um, yet would have their hand out, for money. And I don't feel like I should give them money. I feel like you did, but I don't feel like it's helping them. It's almost like someone who, you start making money and they borrow money and then they go and buy like a six pack, like, oh wow, that's not helping, right? I'm not helping you in that way. So your spiritual team is pointing this energy out. So it must be pretty clear to you um, who it is. I get a feeling it's this king. Okay. Well, we're not going to make these too long. All right, let's take another line. We have the Two of Wands. Someone is starting down a new path. Beautiful. The Empress. Interesting, we have the Emperor right there. Different reading, but they are very close. Six of Cups. Eight of Wands. What I think about, I bring about. Now, let the Empress, when the Empress uses the law of attraction, she's going to manifest. I feel like what this is saying is some of you should be very proud of the growth that you've had in your life. And I feel like there are new doors opening up for you. And I definitely feel like someone who's spent some time learning as much as they could about their spirituality, about themselves, like about the things that I've been through, but now I can break it down and I'm looking at it through the perspective of how it helped me grow. I feel like the Empress may be a single parent because next to it is the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is nostalgia. Can talk about someone that you know, someone that you already know. I can't help but tie the Emperor in here, even the Six of Cups with the star. And this is why I do it this way, because sometimes they'll relate to each other. So this Eight of Wands, first of all, is fast moving energy. But let's say this is connecting the Emperor and the Empress. But they don't need, normally I would say take it slow. But they kind of don't need to because they're so good with the energy. Like, if let's say love came in my door, but it was like the Seven of Swords, well, the Empress would know that. She'd feel it. And she wouldn't accept it. She wouldn't judge the person. She wouldn't put the person down. She would just say no, like our lives don't mesh. And she may have. It's interesting because the same thing might have happened with the Emperor. And this Six of Cups is about happy memories. And you're just starting down this new path. This is interesting. Let's take crystal vision. We have the Hierophant. Interesting because I did the Hierophant and the Emperor back to back. The Hierophant card of Taurus. It is a five. It's interesting. Eight, a new beginning, but also the number of infinity, as above, so below. Well, when I think of the Emperor and the Empress, they are my power couple. And I'll tell you, the Hierophant coming out, mirroring this Two of Wands, in the Hierophant's energy, this is where whoever I'm going to be with or even around, I want our morals to be aligned. This is, this is when you start to understand that, it's not about looks. It's not about it, it's about the energy of a person. I feel like this emperor and empress are meant to be together. And I have a feeling that they both dealt with some definitely lower vibrational energy. But here's the thing, they break it down and then they overcome it. And I feel like the only way I can overcome that Seven of Swords is to get rid of it. But I have a feeling this Emperor and Empress start thinking about each other because it's connecting them. And the Hierophant, literally, like, I'm looking at someone's morals, their ultimate goals in life. And this is about matching, right? You have a 5, change. So that must be the Seven of Swords. And the Emperor and the Empress, they do have similar morals. They do have similar goals. And I feel like that's what's being asked here. Or that's what the Empress, if I'm going to move in that direction, she's not afraid of love. But she doesn't have to have love. But she's not afraid of it. And why is that? Because she doesn't allow the past to predict what her present nor her future will be, right? She wants to do that. So it is the clearing of the past, but I feel like it has served her so well. And I feel like the same thing happened with the Emperor. So I feel like these two are being connected, and I call them my power couple. We could say twin flames, past lives, and maybe all of the above. Okay, we're going to slide these up. And we're going to continue. Let's make these a little neater. I try. I can't get no satisfaction. I swear, the more I try to make them neat, the worse they become. Okay, I'm making them neat because I still want to be part of our reading. So let's continue. We have Justice, card of Libra. Hello, Ace of Cups. Hello, love. Now, there's a reason why I felt like I needed to keep the Empress out. Well, hello, love. But look what happens first, Justice. So, Justice, cutting of ties. I feel like I have to go back to that Seven of Swords. This is what I mean, where sometimes I feel like the whole reading becomes a reading itself. So justice is, when justice shows up in your reading, it's about making you whole again. It's about what's fair and just in your world. And it's interesting because for some reason, I just noticed these two keys. Well, they're not even keys, but they look like keys. And often in the Hierophant's energy, oh, dang it, it's not this one. You usually see two keys below the Hierophant. And I often feel that's the keys to the kingdom. Remember, the Hierophant is also about a blessing, like giving you a blessing. But I feel like it has to start with justice. What you can ask yourself in this when it's suggesting you use the sword of justice. what's in your life right now that is making you unbalanced? Is it a person, a thing? Because using this sword is what brings you balance. And honestly, we need like when we're balanced, the easier our life is. We have the Six of Swords, interesting under the Six of Cups. We have the Queen of Swords, and let's just go ahead and take out the Crystal Vision, the Unknown card. Interesting. All right. Well, this Queen of Swords, I feel like is definitely relating back to justice. And with the sword up in the air, it makes me feel like she's used it. I feel like this queen has something else in mind. Interesting. Like all of a sudden, I feel like she's got something on her mind, like something that she wants to manifest. And it is not where she is at, or it's not in the energy of where she's at. And I feel like she knows that. Some of you may have been in a relationship and someone could have reached out, like out of the blue, and said, I love you. I love you. And what does that do? That gets you moving on. That gets you using that sword. Some of you, I feel like you're literally moving. Interesting coming under the Six of Cups. I often feel like that's like my hometown. When I think of nostalgia, that's what I think of. So some of you, that might be what's happening. And it's the same feeling where I don't know. Well, again, you may have gotten a call and like someone had asked you to be with them. And the unknown card is the high priestess, but her crystal ball is cloudy. So it makes it harder to trust. But I feel like that's exactly what this is. This is like going on a whim. But I feel like you're meant to. But maybe it's meant to have like that adventuresome spirit, like, I don't even know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try it. I feel called. I feel called to it. So I feel like you do. It's interesting because I literally feel, it's probably not for everyone, but I do feel that many of you are changing locations. And this is where this Ace of Cups lives. Okay, let's keep going. We have the Five of Pentacles. Look at that, two fives back to back. The Five of Wands. That cannot be a happy home. We have the King of Cups. Can be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, though it doesn't have to be. We have Temperance. Interesting. Temperance is, well, she has a couple messages. The first one is patience, but then it's also about trusting in divine timing. Seven of Pentacles. Again, when you see the Seven of Pentacles, think of a couple different things. First of all, think of it as like your tree of life. And that does mean that, whatever's happening in your life, chances are was meant to happen. And those who have had a difficult life, they many times will say, well, that doesn't even make sense, Sandy. But I have to tell you, I've had quite a difficult life. But I have learned to break it down. I already did that. I've seen the patterns in my life. I understand why I ended up in like not such great relationships. It was my own energy. I mean, they weren't great, but it's because, I didn't have that self worth, I guess, back then. So, anyways, we have some difficult energy, two fives, right? Change. But in the Five of Wands, it's a lot of fighting, it's a lot of ego. And, it can represent friendly competition. But because it's next to the Five of Pentacles, I don't feel like it's friendly at all. I feel like it's ego based. Like could be someone who dealt with like a narcissistic type energy. Again, like my way or the highway. And I feel like here you're saying, well, I choose the highway. Now, this is a lesson. This is a lesson. And I feel like the lesson here, well, it feels like about one's self worth, your integrity, and knowing what you deserve and what you don't deserve. Five of Pentacles can mean something happened outside of your control. But boy, do I feel like Temperance really, even though this is difficult energy, I feel like Temperance had your back through all this. But our spiritual team can't come between our free will. And our free will is a decision of whether we're going to continue to take this energy or we're not. This king sitting right in the middle, like all innocent. And he may be, but something is telling me he's not. You know, Temperance, card of Sagittarius, by the way. You can see she's mixing the loving waters of these two cups, which represents a soulmate. And this soulmate, it feels like was predestined, sitting next to the Seven of Pentacles. I don't feel like it's here. This almost feels like karma, but the opportunity to pay this karma off for good. And, sometimes we think too long and hard about karma. Sometimes it's because remember, karma is having done to you what you may have done to another, both good and bad. So in a previous life, you might have been a narcissist. And in this lifetime, now you're dealing with it. And I feel like there's only one way to deal with that, and that's to leave it. Now, you do whatever you feel. But again, I do get this sense. It's almost like the Five of Pentacles doesn't even allow you to stay anyway. And I may have taken this in a very hard way. But again, it's like, it's just because you don't know what is yet to be. We got to find a way to not only let go of this energy, but in a way forgive. And maybe it's just about forgiving oneself. Like, how the hell did I end up here? Hey, listen, most of us end up here. And that is just part of our soul's growth. So if you look at it from that that perspective, I feel like it helps you to move on quickly. This king, I feel like, sits back here because I feel like he's just trying to be quiet and not be seen. And I feel like these two cups that sit upon your tree of life, I don't feel like they've come in yet. I feel like I just want to take one crystal vision. We have the moon, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. It's interesting because I wanted to look at this king, and that may be the case. But let's just say the moon can certainly talk about uncertainties. Things are unclear. Someone could have left things in that way. I feel like Temperance is talking about what you have to be, and that feels dreamy. Some of you may have been having some dreams lately. Maybe you want to go, but like something keeps pulling you back, but then you have these dreams where you're seeing yourself in like a different light, a different life. I have a feeling they're real. So, goodbye, narcissist. That's just what it feels like. These fives, the meaning is change. And both, I feel like it would serve us to change. Okay, let's keep going. Hello, full. New beginning. The dreamer. The Five of Cups. Interesting. Oh my. The Four of Wands, the marriage card. You know, I'm just going to tell you, it's interesting how it's falling. Because the Fool is looking back. But remember, the Fool was cleared past energy. That's why the Fool is so light and free. The Fool, like, yes, I want to go on this adventure. I'm willing to take a leap of faith. And then we see the Five of Cups. Well, Five of Cups speaks about where your focus is at. And often in the Five of Cups, it's on the cups that have been knocked over. But here's the thing, I don't even feel like the Fool knows this. These two cups, I know it's hard to see, but these two cups that are behind this person, what if I told you that was a true love? There seems to be a little bit of a theme of nostalgia, some moving back home or moving back, let's say, to a place you loved. I feel like the Fool doesn't know that there is this potential of what feels like is a beautiful love story. Look at this, the Magician. Well, number one, the Fool's greatest mentor. The Magician teaches the Fool, you have all the tools that you need to be successful on this path. And, many of it is of your past experiences. Like all the tools are on the table, ripe for the picking. But that is the manifester. Look at the infinity right above him. As above, so below. And then Six of Wands, victory and success. This is an energy where other people are really looking up to you. And it is because of action steps you've taken. And it makes sense that it's mirroring the Fool, right? Because the Fool does have to take that leap of faith, or doesn't. It's up to the Fool. But the Fool, again, is light and dreamy. So, chances are I'm going to take that leap. And I get to sense here that someone out of the blue, maybe someone who, I don't, some of you might work like online on social media, or you're just on your social media. And I feel like first and foremost, if this is about a move, you've already been thinking about that. But then I feel like when you do take that leap, I feel like these two cups, which again is tying right back to Temperance and the beautiful Magician, those two cups become what I feel like would be an everlasting love. Like the ability to manifest. This person has realized, um, those cups have been knocked over. I've looked at them, but I'm not gonna stay focused there, right? That happened then. What is next? I love that the Fool came out in the same line, as the Magician. Let's just make this simple. I feel like what this is saying is there are two soulmates who are going to get married. I feel like by taking that leap of faith on yourself, because that's what I feel like. It's not that I'm even planning anything. I'm just taking a leap of faith. I'm making a change in my life. And that leap, I feel like, is a sign to the universe that you are open. And I just get this sense that this person already admires you. So I don't know if they can see what you're doing like online. They may even see that you are taking this leap of faith. Again, some of you could be moving, and maybe you're moving right to where they're at. And they're like, there's my chance, right? Here's my opportunity. But here's the thing. This is someone who would look up to you. This is someone who would admire you for the things you've done in your life, not someone who would put you down. Quite the opposite. Okay, let's keep going. We have the Nine of Cups, inner fulfillment, and fulfillment of wishes. Well, that's not a wish. Ten of Swords. Now, in this Ten of Swords, you can literally see this person is face up. So they see these daggers coming. Now, you can't be in the Nine of Swords or the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Swords at the same time. One had to give. And I feel like what this is representing is some of you who are now single. And I feel like, and I'm pretty happy about it. And you should be, because I feel like you cleared some heavy energy. And it might have taken you time. But again, I don't feel like there's any judgment other than we only have so long, in this lifetime. Whoops, wrong deck. We have the Three of Wands. So goodbye, Ten of Swords. This is an optimistic view at your life. This is living in the present moment. This is saying to divine, I know that my ships will come in, my blessings in their divine timing. I love the Nine of Cups and the Three of Wands together. You want to talk about happy energy. It doesn't mean everything is perfect in my life. It just means I'm finding the things that make me happy. I feel like you're ready for this adventure. Remember, this is also about fulfillment of wishes and having inner harmony and then wishes coming true. Wow, that's a whole different ball game. We have the Seven of Cups. Well, I feel like this is love. This is a cup coming in, and this is you making the decision. Do I or don't I? And you know why? Because again, I feel the person in the Nine of Cups, I'm pretty happy with my life. Especially after I've cleared this Ten of Swords. Wow. Like, It feels like freedom. But yet, I do feel like you are seeking new adventures, like you're open to them. Let's just put it that way. And I feel like one of the adventures is a cup coming in. And, it puts the ball in your court. But even if I just look up this line, the Eight of Wands, what I think about, I bring about. The Queen of Swords, speaking my piece, it literally is like she's doing a mic drop. Temperance, divine timing, but she's mixing the beautiful waters of the soulmates, the magician, the manifester. And we're moving into the magician's energy in 2026, right around the corner. So the Seven of Cups, like I have all this wisdom to pull on. Then we have the Death card, card of Scorpio. This is about transformation. And I feel like some of you've been in a single status. I feel like it's about to change. So I do feel like you're accepting this cup. And I do feel like you spent enough time in the Nine of Cups really to find that inner harmony. And I don't feel like you'll allow anyone to come in and interrupt that now. So it is a new you. Like, I can think back at like some of the people that I was with that I would never allow in my life now, right? Because now I know, now I have that wisdom. So I feel like this is moving someone from a single status, let's just say, into a relationship. Let's just take one crystal vision over the Seven of Cups, Eight of Wands. What I think about, I bring about. Some of you, this may be subconsciously. This is also fast moving energy, though. This is a good representation of it. Like, I was going to say a herd of horses, but I don't think you call them a herd. Um, but boy, that's passion. Just the energy alone. And that may be the clue, the passion of it. But I do get this sense, especially with the magician right there. What I think about, I bring about. And some of you, I feel like you're doing this subconsciously. Some of you, I feel like you have a beautiful spiritual mentor, let's say, who is helping this energy. Okay, let's keep going. We have the King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Three of Swords. Feels like the difficult cards are coming in the second position. We have the Two of Pentacles, the Moon, the Chariot. Interesting because the Moon is the ruler of Cancer, and the Chariot is the card of Cancer. Now, it doesn't have to be Cancer, but it is double Cancer right there. I feel like this king is going to ask someone for a second chance. And I feel, honestly, I don't feel like he gets it. I feel like you say no. This is definitely someone who's broken your heart, is showing three times. Three times doesn't have to be just from this person, but I'm getting a sense it was this person. And I feel like three times they've done it. And here they come again. But here's the thing. They may say that they've changed or, whatever needed to improve, but I don't buy it. I don't feel like they're able to show it and I would want to see it. Like, I want action behind your words. And I feel like I feel like you're simply saying no. And I feel like one of the reasons why you're saying no, well, I don't know that you love this person like you used to. But I feel the main reason why you're saying no, though, is because this person, it kind of feels like maybe that narcissist from back there who is now showing up again. Maybe you were finding new love and boom, it makes sense that a narcissist would then try again. I don't want you, but I'll be damned if I want else to have you. Well, I feel like some of you are getting in your car and getting the hell away from them. And I do feel like it's the best course of action. So, I just don't trust that this person is, let's just say, I feel like it would turn right back into the Three of Swords eventually. But you're the one I feel like keeps taking the swords. All right, let's move on. We have the Four of Cups, discontentment, boredom in one's emotional life. But it really is about a cup that's coming in. And, it looks like it's from Divine's hand. Usually you see it coming down. And this person's looking at it, but she's not. She's looking at these cups. So, discontentment, boredom. But here comes the cup. Meaning of this card is, well, discontentment and boredom in your emotional world, but also learning to use your spiritual discernment as it relates to accepting any cups. Ace of Swords. Okay, well, that feels like the truth to me. And the Ace of Swords is also my yes card. Hello, lovers. You were discontent? Not for long. So, this is the card of Gemini. The meaning of this card is a head over heart decision. But if you look at these lovers, like when I showed you the Devil's card, also had the lovers, right? But they were being influenced. Here, they're also being influenced, but by the angel. They're both naked, which means they're both ready and willing and able to be their authentic selves. To me, it means there's nothing that either one has to change about themselves. They both accept each other for exactly who they are. So, head over heart decision. And it's interesting, the Ace of Swords, again, is my yes card. We have, well, the Three of Pentacles. Some of you could work with someone who may turn out to be someone very special. But let me tell you what I feel the Three of Pentacles really speaks about. It does speak about your creativity. And, sometimes that is the way to get over something. Refocus the mind. If you're a creative soul, like that's where to go. Go into your creative house. But this really means um, this is the celebration of the individuality in each being celebrated. Well, interesting. We have two fours mirroring each other. The Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles, to me speaks about one's foundation. And I feel like it's important that we remember that anything new we're building, let's build it on a strong foundation. Now, this can also be resistance. You can just feel it, right? Like someone's resistant. Maybe they don't want to give up their money. I don't feel like they're going to have to. I feel like the person in the Four of Cups, is going to have to accept this cup, but is not happy anyway. And I don't feel like you even know about the lovers yet, because that's the cup that's coming in. And your focus isn't on it yet. I feel like I want to take a crystal vision over that. Look at that. It's wrapped around the Ace of Swords. And look what's wrapped around this ace. Beautiful roses. I would say move forward with this one. Let's put it this way. You meet this person, or even if you know this person, literally it doesn't feel like there's anything that needs to change. I don't go into it, or even if I do go into it thinking, well, they better be of this or that. Well, they will already be. And I'm only saying that because I feel a little resistance. But yet, it's like what the universe has in mind just might blow your mind. So that Ace of Swords, it's like two yeses, two lovers, two yeses. Okay, let's keep going. We're getting pretty far down here. Six of Pentacles. Yeah, fine art, give and take. The Queen of Wands. Someone who moves according to what she's passionate about. She is looking outwardly, so let's see. She's looking at the High Priestess, her intuition. Hello, Will. Right next to the High Priestess. And then, interesting, the Six of Pentacles again. Well, like-minded energy. I feel like here, first and foremost, I feel like this is someone who is connecting more and more with their soulmate family. And I'm not talking about the family that you grew up with. I'm talking about like us, your soulmate family. That's how I think of you guys. You are my soulmate family. I feel like this person is trusting her intuition about creating something. I feel like she's a giver, like a giver at heart, and definitely cares about her fellow man and woman. This is someone I don't feel like needs direction. She can direct herself. This is someone who truly trusts in her intuition. And I love that we have destiny here. So I feel like, it's almost tying back to where we saw the Nine of Pentacles. This is what I feel like this person is creating what I feel is going to be a very successful business. And, I feel this person follows their passion, but is also empathetic and compassionate. But nobody's full, and this isn't about like this person is building a business, not just giving things away. But I feel like the business is a spiritual based business, and it may be something like intuitively that you do, but it's sitting right on your wheel. So I feel like you're meant to do it. And success, I feel like, will be yours. And I feel like the right people, if you worry, like, well, will the right people even find me? They will. It's almost like, maybe you have to spend some advertising money, but I feel like a little, like very little, because it's like the universe is sending you the right people, the people who need your wisdom. All right, let's slide this up. And we're just going to leave it like that. We have the Seven of Wands, defending one's ground, standing one's ground. The Eight of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles. But will this person even know that? The Hierophant. There's those keys I was talking about earlier. Look at that sitting right next to the Ace of Pentacles. Because I feel like these are the keys to your kingdom. Then we have the King of Swords. All right. So, first and foremost, we have the Ace of Pentacles. That means that something's coming into your physical world. This ace is meant to enhance your life. So it's, and it can start as a seed. It needs your nurturing to really grow and blossom. But that's exactly what it does. I don't feel like it's a one-time thing. But someone, is in a self-created prison. And I'll tell you what I feel like is happening here. I feel like you have a certain goal in mind, a certain wish. Maybe it is for like starting a business or a certain home, that type of energy. I feel like someone is working against you. Like, like if I want to start this business, I feel like someone would be saying, you won't be successful. I feel like you did buy it. Like lock, stock, and barrel. I feel like you bought it. But, and let's face it, in the Eight of Swords, the only one who can uncreate that energy is you. And it can block this ace. It can block it. And I feel like what this is saying is, you have to believe in yourself. Spirit believes in you. Your spiritual team believes in you. But you have to believe in yourself. Even if they're, in this may be a little bit of a test. Like there could be naysayers. And the test is, do I know my own worth? Do I trust my own abilities? Because I feel like you want to begin something, but then maybe pull back. And I feel like what this is saying is have that trust within yourself, even if it feels like no one around you. This is the type of energy I feel like if you uncreate that prison, you take that Ace of Pentacles and you build what it is you want to build. I feel like the day comes when those who didn't believe in you will be like, holy shit, look at her go. Look at him go. But you know what? I don't feel like that'll matter to you. It might be a little sweet karma. So I feel like this is saying trust in yourself. I feel like for those this message is for, you already know what it is that you want to create. And again, you may not know, or you may think that you need to know everything, but I don't feel like you do. Like you learn it as you go. So don't take on those naysayers. Build what it is you want to build. Know that your spiritual team is behind you. They're going to help you. Because I feel like what you're doing, it's like you want it to come from the light. And therefore it will. Okay, let's keep going. We have the Nine of Wands. Hello, Ten of Pentacles. I'll take it. The Page of Pentacles. The Five of Swords. Well, there's going to be one negative person, and then the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups, her back is to the Five of Swords. Five of Swords, it speaks about toxic energy. It talks about bad communication. It literally is about change, though, and it's coming right below the Hierophant. So, again, that question, do our morals match? But here's the thing. I love that we open this up with the Nine of Wands because this is you reflecting. But this is you reflecting on your past with a perspective of how I have grown. Like each one behind this person is an experience they've been through, is a challenge that they've overcome. And this is why I call this person my spirit warrior. This is the reflection that is necessary, but this is without judgment. This isn't like, what the hell was I thinking? Though many of us say that. But when we are really serious about clearing energy, we're looking at it like, what has it taught me? How have I grown from it and because of it? And this Page of Pentacles talks about a path of knowledge, everything you've been learning along the way, and how it can turn into the Ten of Pentacles, the house of abundance, a house that takes root. I often don't feel you're alone in this energy. And that may be why we have the Queen of Cups looking outward, like looking towards the future. But I feel like what this is saying, there is this importance here to create this, let's just say, wealth for yourself, um, or stability, because not everyone's going to be rich in that energy. But I often feel in the Ten of Pentacles, I have what I need. I can take care of myself and my family. But I feel like this is really talking about like the lessons you've learned along the way. And I could see you just like this reading here, where you then turn around and build your own business from it. In the Ten of Pentacles, I feel like this can be the type of business that is handed down from one generation to the next. And I feel like the Queen of Cups is kind of like an island on her own. But as I say that, I feel like what this is saying is here, love was kind of on the back burner because the building of this career was probably that important. And I feel like love, well, I know someone's like, take another one. Six of Swords. So interesting because we have the Five of Swords. And this queen's back is to that Five of Swords. So this is showing us this queen has moved on from that Five of Swords. That's great to hear. Because if you look at the Six of Swords, you can see like it's ice. It's icy cold. Right? That's the way the communication's been. So I don't think this queen has anything to worry about. Because I feel, in a way, I feel like you're doing what your soul came here to do. And that was, and I know some people are like, our souls didn't come here to make money. It's not that we came here to make money. But like, when you think of certain life paths, like a life path 8 is about the material world. But listen, it's also about helping others, right? In the Ten of Pentacles, when I have more than I need, it's a very giving type energy, right? I'm going to help others then. Some of you may have gone to school for this and maybe haven't had a chance. And this may just be the perfect time. So I like this energy a lot. First of all, the spiritual reflection. You have now taken the title as the spirit warrior who can make true abundance for oneself. And I feel like as far as love goes, that's coming. But what you're doing right now, it's almost like getting everything set for its right time. Okay, well, let's keep going. We have the Knight of Swords. We have the Ace of Wands. We have the Four of Pentacles. Hello, Ten of Cups. Interesting, 10 of Pentacles, and now we have the 10 of Cups. Oh. And then, hello, world. Hello, world. Hello, next chapter. That makes sense. And I'm saying that because we have the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands, it's action time. It's go time. But the Ace of Wands ignites the passion within you first. This Knight of Swords could be someone reaching out. And again, I feel like there's a potential of a hometown. And I'm sorry to keep saying that, but I feel it again. Now, it could be other things than that, but I am feeling that. I feel like is ever in this message, I feel like you are heading towards love. And it's starting with like your heart chakra being activated. And then I feel like, or let's put it a different way. There may be some communication that reaches you, and that's going to activate your heart chakra. And because your heart chakra is now activated, I'm not really feeling any restriction. I feel like what it's saying is that ultimately, if, again, the world means something has come to completion and something brand new is opening up. Well, right next to the Ten of Cups, some of you, you're meeting your forever person. Some of you may already know who it is, but it's coming through the line of communication. And I feel like the clue here is you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. So even if it's over a phone, you're still going to feel that energy. Like something's going to just feel right. And maybe even a little scary, but scary in a good way. All right. We have the King of Wands. The Sun. Card of Leo. I know, I haven't been given signs. The King of Pentacles. So two kings between the Sun. The Chariot. Card of Cancer again. And then the Strength card. Card of Leo. With the infinity sign above it. It's interesting how both kings are looking back. The sun feels like it's illuminating these kings. Something is telling me one of these kings are going and one of these kings are coming. Okay. So I feel like someone has been dealing with someone who has some issues. Let's just put it that way. Some issues of their own that is affecting you and your life and probably others. And I feel like you probably tried to help. Who doesn't? But here's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling this is something personal to them. Like this is their soul's lesson. So we can't fix them. And really, by trying to fix them, we're kind of robbing them of the opportunity to clear, maybe karma or to like ultimately break like a generational habit. That's kind of what I'm feeling. But then I feel like this other king is being illuminated. So I want to look at the sun. Five of Swords. All right, so that's why I feel like there's two kings. By the way, male or female? I feel like one has an issue that you just can't help them with. You may have tried, and it probably just ended up in arguments. I don't feel like this is your energy to carry. But you have to have that realization. You can love someone from afar. But here's the thing. I feel like this King of Pentacles, actually, I want to take one more over this with the Queen of Wands. Interesting. King of Wands here. But here, I feel like you're leaving that King of Wands, and now the Queen of Wands is connecting with this King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles right now is mirroring that Ace of Pentacles. I like that. This Queen, again, if I feel passionate about this person, I'm going to take a chance. And I feel like you're able to let go of what was because I feel like I tried everything I could. And that's that. And then it became toxic. And that was my signal to move on. So I feel like the kings are being swapped. But it's not because you didn't try. But it just feels right. Like, I feel like you end up with someone who, let's just put it this way, where things felt unsteady within the prior relationship. Things feel very steady here. Where things were really hard to count on, trust in. Here, it feels the opposite. There's a sense of loyalty, almost without even asking. So, and I don't feel like the queen, like I need to talk this queen into anything. This queen is going to move according to her passion. If she's feeling it, and remember, the sun is here. So the sun's going to illuminate everything. I feel like number one, it's illuminating the things that you just can't fix. That has turned toxic. May turn into arguments over arguments. So I feel like the queen has had enough. She's gone, jumping in her car of the chariot. And I feel like somewhere along the way, what's right above this king? Four of Pentacles. Man, again. I don't want to say home again. All right. I'm going to slide these up. We're almost done. This is taking a little longer than I thought. We have the Six of Wands, victory and success. Hello, Knight of Cups, unexpected couple fulfillment. The Queen of Pentacles, interesting, she's right below the King of Pentacles. Page of Wands, I call my little risk taker. And then, interesting, two pages, the Page of Swords. This may be two people who knew each other back in the day when they were pages, and now they're king and queen. This feels like another image of where someone is admiring you, but I feel like maybe admiring you from afar or right now. I feel like this Knight of Cups, I know it's coming in. It's coming right in towards the Queen. And I just get the sense the Queen knows who this is. So let's take one. The Devil, card of Capricorn. I am feeling it's more Capricorn for some. Of course, that's not for everyone, but coming over the King and Queen of Pentacles, because I'm not feeling a negative. I'm not feeling like anything like where I'm tempted. I may be tempted, but I feel like in a good way. Let's take one more of that. Well, hello, Six of Cups. That's what I was feeling. That's probably why I was feeling these pages are now the King and Queen. Again, Six of Cups is nostalgia. But this Knight of Cups, it is romance. And it's coming in. And I love that before that is you sitting in this position of victory and success. It doesn't mean like that you have to be like completely set, but you're doing something. You're doing something that brings passion to your heart, and you're doing it well. And again, I get this sense, is someone else like paying attention to what you're doing? Because there is like, again, this admiration. But I feel like it's connecting two lovers from back in the day. And that's that. All right, let's do one more. We have Judgment. This is your spiritual team calling you to the present moment. We have the Page of Swords. So remember, a page can also mean what's in the atmosphere. So this could be some type of communication, right? That your spiritual team wants you, like if it's a phone call, they want you to answer it. Because when Judgment shows up, it is about being in the present moment. It means that they're sending you signs. Well, then the Page of Swords that come out kind of feels like some type of communication. Four of Swords, healing. Hello, Knight of Pentacles. Wow. My favorite knight. And let's just take one more. Justice. All right. Let's talk about the Knight of Pentacles for a second. Because the Knight of Pentacles, its messages are number one, patience, because it's a slow moving knight, but it moves slow on purpose. This knight tells you, I come at the right time. When the timing is right, I will be there. It seems to be that healing is an important component here. And this knight is looking over at justice. So I feel like part of what this knight wants to do is to make you feel whole again, is to help you feel more balanced. It feels like a karmic reward for allowing yourself to heal from the past and not get stuck in it. So I just want to look at this knight. 10 of Wands. It's like this knight knows what you've been through. Well, no wonder you need that healing. And there's Mother Mary in the window. And it's like this knight is like helping you to end that at the same time. It's like when this knight says, I come at the right time, for some of you, I feel like you're going to be, oh my God, this was the perfect time. Like I needed you right now. And here I am. Here I am. So Judgment is calling you to the present moment. And it must be because this knight's, again, divine timing, right? You can't make this night come in before its time. Like when you're ready, when, this knight would say, I bring you in this pentacle, and this pentacle is truly meant to enhance your life, truly meant to bless your life. But I also want you to be able to take advantage of it, right? To see it, to nurture it. And I feel like this sense of proudness for the things that you have overcome and that you've allowed healing to take place. Some people never do. Some people hang on to the past like even Sam's one of those people. He's got a Virgo moon and like he takes everything very deeply. But he has like it has nothing to do with us. But like his family he grew up in, there were just issues. Um and he still holds on to it. And I said, sooner or later, you got to let it go. But, you know, I just want to follow that 10. Look at that, the tower. But let me tell you something. You know, we shouldn't fear the tower because the tower, yes, it can mean an end of something. But if it's the 10 of Wands, please give me the tower. And in the 10 of Wands, I say it all the time. I feel like this person is subconsciously wishing for a tower. There may be something I had a hard time putting an end to. So the universe gets involved and helps me in some way, almost like I can't help but put an end to it now. But it's not about that, it's about where you're going next. Okay. I think I'm gonna let this be. I don't even know how long we've been recording. Um, so yeah, I just thought, let's try this spread. I haven't done it in a long time. Um, but then there's a couple other things I want to do also. So just thank you for letting me be me. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I'm gonna stop now and stop talking. I love you guys. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.